just go through the Q1 results. You're welcome to ask questions as we go or by the end of the presentation. So feel free to ask any questions. Short summary in the beginning, the major highlights for Q1. Very strong banking with 36% operating profit growth, yes, mostly due to many implementation projects in core banking and channel solutions. Very good quarter for traditional POS business, also in Spain with Android POSs delivered to financial institutions. But this is a very nice growth. A big surprise, I wouldn't say a big surprise, but something difficult to understand by us, but from what I checked by economists as well, is relative appreciation of Turkish lira. So they have official inflation around 55, 60%. Unofficially, they say it's much higher. And the currency seems to be pretty stable against dollar or euro. In other words, we are getting a significant cost growth denominated in euro or dollar of our operations. Some of the revenues are indexed by inflation to Turkish lira, but some of them are in dollars. Yes, so relatively we have a cost pressure because of this. Some people say this should end with the elections. Many estimate in May elections that this will change, but it creates a pressure on the operating profit. We recorded an unexpected tax. It was called an earthquake or solidarity tax. They say it's one-off. It was charged based on 2022 results. It's a $500,000 one-off payment in first quarter. Michał will explain this later, that you can see on tax level, higher taxation. And we also had restructuring costs in BPO in Spain because we liquidated one BPO team, and for the layoffs, we recorded this as a restructuring cost in Q1 of 300K. We've taken over one independent ATM network in Croatia, and we also restructured it, and some cost of the installation of part of this network that we did not need or did not want, it was 150K. So again, one-off in Q1, negative. And last, to finish with good thing in the processing, the card processing done by Chipcard, again, very well, progresses, grows, and contributes very strongly to our results. Let's move to the major deals. In the banking segment, in ASEE best deals, you can see some core banking, some digital solution like digital origination for loan origination, channel solutions like adaptive elements for mobile platforms for countries like Slovakia, Croatia, Romania, security solutions for the financial sector, multi-factor authentication for Croatia and Italian banks. Yes, so this was very nice. Some consulting for a bank in Germany, also in digital area, and for a bank in Romania, Scan from Home with BPM platform provided there. In the dedicated solutions, you can see contact center solutions as well as service desk solutions in the family of our products of life. Yes, so this is nicely developing, but its signature, we are often in the early development stage of the projects, but implementation, maybe I should say, stage. We have a lot of DMS, document management, but also BPM, business process management projects with a solution called ABC. This is mostly for the public institutions in Serbia, but also with the customers in Croatia and Romania. We see quite a progress, though we are not happy with the profitability in some of them still, and there's room for improvement. As a third-party solution, we note only here Dynatrace. It's a SaaS solution, third-party solution sold in Turkey very successfully with very nice contribution. But again, this dollar Turkish lira, I think, diminishes the growth and profitability of this area. In the Payten, strong e-commerce in areas of payment gateway, both for merchants and banks, and we have many deals and solutions in that areas. And in processing, as I mentioned, very good chip card for existing installed base for the banks, increasing number of transactions of cards, but also for other new customers, vendors. We just acquired an independent ATM network in Spain, where we will be providing some processing and DCC services for them on the Spanish market. For POS and ATM, we had weak deliveries in ATM, but this is traditional in Q1, yes. But Michał will mention this, that we have something already on stocks, expecting some deliveries in the later quarters. But in the POS area, a lot of deliveries, some software solutions for non-POS devices to do the payment. This is quite popular to promote by financial institutions, small software delivery to an African payment provider, and nicely growing, especially in Croatia, but slowly in Romania as well, independent POS network, where we see some dynamic growth in numbers. And now let's move to numbers. Michał, please.
Good afternoon. So numbers. Those who attended our previous results calls, this slide should be known, but let me recall. Since we are reporting hyperinflation, in first column we present total figures as they are in our financial statement, and then in second column we present excluding effect of hyperinflation accounting. As you see for Q1, numbers down to EBIT are pretty similar, not big differences. The only difference is on net profit, where in full financial statements we have gain recognized on non-monetary items. Primarily, this is recalculation and indexation of goodwill, which we have on Turkish operations. So all differences which we present at this slide are calculated versus numbers excluding hyperinflation. And starting from top line, here we have 20% growth of revenues. Out of this, more or less 2/3 are generated on our own activities, so on services and solutions, those which are strategically important for us, and 1/3 is on resale of equipment and third-party solutions. On operating profit level, 8% growth year-over-year, and in Polish zloty it is even more, 9%. Similar growth in terms of absolute value on EBITDA. Of course, dynamics are lower due to higher scale of EBITDA, and this 5% in euro and slightly over 6% in Polish zloty. Below EBIT, on net profit level, we have drop of results by 6 percentage points, and there are two main reasons for this drop. First is related with base, so Q1 2022 figures, in which we have recognized more than 1 million euro of positive FX rates on revaluation of foreign currency assets. This is mostly in Poland and Turkey. Last year, when war in Ukraine started, there was depreciation of Polish zloty versus euro, and we keep our excess cash in euros, so we had some positive FX gains. And in case of Turkey, where we keep our excess cash in US dollars, last year lira was depreciating towards dollar significantly more than this year. So this over 1 million euro on FXs, which we don't have in 2023. So this is one reason. And second reason is this, what Piotr already mentioned. There is some additional tax, earthquake tax, which it's not like standard corporate tax, but we reported this in the same way, as it's somehow linked with results in 2022. This is very recent information that this tax was implemented, and based on our current understanding and best knowledge we have right now, it should be one-off. It shouldn't reoccur in next quarters of 2023. This is half a million, and otherwise pretty similar figures year over year. So let's look at results by business units. As mentioned at the beginning, biggest growth we have in banking. So a result in banking is higher by 1 million euro. It grows from 2.7 to 3.7. We've increased profitability by 2 percentage points, and this is related with implementation projects which we have open implementation projects mostly in core banking area, but also in multi-channel solutions. For dedicated solutions, we have a big growth of revenues, more than 6 million euro. Realized, and this growth of revenues is in big part related with resale of third-party solutions and equipment. So not necessarily the highly impacting result, and this is why we have only slight increase of result and drop of profitability. For payment, we have almost 4 million euro higher top line, and here looking by business lines, biggest growth is in POS POS line, where we have on one hand big growth in traditional POS business, so where we deliver POS plus software and implementation services. In Western Europe, we delivered another bunch of Android POSs to one of clients. But we have also almost 1 million growth in merchant direct to merchant business of independent POS and electronic cash registers. Also some growth in LATAM, where we delivered Android POSs to one of clients. Second line of this more traditional business, so ATMs, here we have a decline of revenues by 1 million euro, and this is related with seasonality of deliveries. Last year we have pretty big deliveries to banks in Romania, Bulgaria, and Croatia. This Q1 it was lower. We had some deliveries in Serbia and Slovenia, but net they were below those from previous year. But as you will see in a moment in a slide about balance sheet, we have some growth of inventory and planned deliveries. So for processing, as Piotr mentioned, continuation of growth, mainly in Serbia, where we have competence center, but also some clients in Bosnia and Herzegovina contributed to this growth. And in e-commerce, 1.4 million euro growth year over year, mostly in Turkey, 1.2 million, but also smaller growths in Serbia and Croatia. Coming back to results, this growth by almost 4 million euro, but on operating profit we have a small decline, and it's mostly related with e-commerce business in Turkey. As Piotr mentioned, there is let's say difficult situation with inflation, this official one versus and the one which is seen by our employees, and indexation of our revenues was lower than increase of cost. Looking at geographies, the biggest contributor for growth of operating profit is Serbia. Here our results are 2.5 million euro growth. Biggest part of this growth is in banking. This is what we already discussed. So increase in own implementations of core banking and multi-channel solutions, but also good quarter for dedicated solutions, and especially this part related with own solutions, where result is significantly better than last year. From two other countries with smaller growth, first is Iberia, so this is primarily Spain. Here we have increase of result in payment business, where we have those deliveries of Android POS and related services, which was partially offset by those one-off costs related with closing BPO deal in Spain. This is what we mentioned in highlights. So this was for and about drops. So biggest drop we have in Turkey. So this we have here a result lower by 1.3 million euros. In like the two business units contribute. One is e-commerce, second is dedicated solutions, and this is somehow related with this inflation versus currency challenges. In case of Croatia, here is declined by 300K, and this is on one hand stage of realization of projects in banking, where we couldn't recognize some things due to the stage of signing documents, and on the other hand, we have here in Croatia those one-off cost of takeover of independent ATM network. It's 150K. And in Romania, also 300K lower result, and this is mostly due to two business lines. One is dedicated solutions, where we had less business in this part related to third-party solutions and reselling. And on the other hand, in ATMs deliveries, which I mentioned before. So this is about results, and when talking about our net cash, so balance sheet position, cash and cash equivalents as of end of March to almost 2 million euro more than end of 2022, and we managed to repay part of our debt, slightly over 2 million. So net cash is higher by 4 million euro versus end of 2022. Below net cash in working capital, receivables and liabilities, slightly lower balances than end of 2022. Pretty normal situation. Q4, very strong quarter, where there are many deliveries, and we have, of course, many purchases from vendors. So now those things are being settled, and some of receivables were collected, and we paid our liabilities. Inventory balance, here we have a pretty big increase by almost 4 million euro. It's mostly related with inventories for specific projects. Like more than half of these are ATMs which we bought in Romania to deliver to one of our clients. This will happen in April. So it's like simply due to normal operations, and when the phases of realization of those deliveries. On top of those ATMs in Romania, we have also another bunch of terminals for Android terminals for our client in Spain. And looking cash flow, very similar picture as for whole 2022. So Q1 last 12 months ended Q1 2023. Operating cash flow similar level, the same with all our investments. So outsourcing equipment, infrastructure for independent networks, no material changes. The same with M&As, nothing new closed in Q1, so no changes in values. And we have some debt service and higher amounts here. As you saw on previous slide, we decreased our debt. So looking at the ratio, operating cash flow versus EBITDA and free cash flow versus EBIT, ratios are very similar as for whole 2022. No big changes here. So this is about Q1, and let's move to outlook for 23.
So traditionally, you can see backlogs here. The dynamics for the whole group, ASEE and Payton, 11% for Q2 and 16% for the whole year. If we look at the ASEE, so dedicated solutions with banking, slightly lower, but also good, 10% and 30% for the year. And for Payton, it's 15 and 19 consecutively. I would say these are good backlog dynamics compared to previous years. We are pretty positive about this, these numbers, yes? What else I can tell you before we move to questions? Overall, you know, we see the pressure on margins. The biggest one we already mentioned is visible in Turkey, but this is mostly due to exchange rate and this appreciation of Turkish lira. Additionally, we have an operational issue. It's not an issue problem, it's something we knew, but we are finishing rollout of a replacement software for payment gateway in Turkey. We are already implementing in first banks, and it's going well, but this has caused pretty significant people buildup in the Payton payment team. So this appreciation with these people has put some quite significant pressure on margins, which we hope will ease by the end of the year, both quicker because of exchange rate, maybe after elections, and second is due to the smaller need for resources. Otherwise, business as usual, we continue, we try to implement, we want to work on BPM and document management to increase profitability. We are not happy with the levels there, and there will be some more work in this sphere area. But otherwise, there is no major shakeups or worries we would see ahead. As for M&A, we are working on them. Until we do them, it's very difficult to say if something happened. Michał mentioned in Q1, we have not made any major acquisitions, but let's see, maybe it will happen in Q2, Q3. But again, you never know with these, so we don't want to build up any expectations. And having said that, please, questions. Whoever wishes to ask, go for it. I don't know if you need to raise your hand or we can just unmute all of you. Or you can put it on chat, but you can also wave the hand and then we will automatically unmute you. Anyone willing to clear out something? Or you can write on chat also if you wish. Yeah, there's a question of how serious are the wage pressures? I mean, overall, they are better than last year. I would say we see that the competition for resources has eased. Second thing that might be interesting for you is, surprise, surprise, the salaries in Central Eastern Europe have reached a level where, well, they are not that big of a difference to developed markets. Of course, they're different to Germany, Switzerland, UK probably, and some French. But if I compare to Spain, it's not a rock and roll type of difference. Yes, so there's many reasons, and of course, the business growth, the slowdown, letting go in international corporations in US of some people eases the pressure in competition for resources. Yes, so I would say definitely this is better. If we see any growth in our teams, this is more because of catching up to what happened in past 2 years to the labor market, but overall it's definitely flattening. Yeah, so this is good news. And we see one thing very immediately, I can tell you, the employment rotation is dropping, yes, very much in Q1 compared to last year. So the amount of people leaving and the need for replacement has diminished, decreased. Any more questions? Please go for it. We have the end of close season. We can have any conversation and we can talk much more than we could for the last couple of weeks. So if you would be willing also to have one-to-ones or to ask some questions about the future, you're more than welcome to schedule a call with us. Another question is, in which regions are we looking for M&A? Well, this is not an easy question because we are looking everywhere, but our evaluation criteria are different depending on the region. So if we are very strong on a selected market, we take bigger risks. So we can take smaller targets, smaller team, less known, yes. The more distant the market or the less present we are, we want somebody with a stronger management team with more recurring revenues and more stable business, yes. So that's the point. But we are looking from South America, Spain, Portugal, to the Southeastern Europe. Yes, we talk to the companies almost anywhere, yes. But if we have a company from Philippines, yes, or Indonesia, then we don't look at it very seriously, but unless it's very well priced and very sustainable business, but we haven't seen something like that so far. So it's a stable process. Yes, I must say the valuations did drop probably a bit, but it's not a big drop because the alternative for the money, which there's still a lot of money on the market, maybe less, but still a lot, and the investment alternatives are not that big. Yes, so they are still searching for targets. Yes, and we see that. Any other questions? Again, you can use chat if you wish. Good. So we invite you to follow us. We will be, also to schedule a call if you wish, and everything about dividend payout and roughly the plans ahead. We will be probably for second quarter issuing results a bit earlier before the official audited data, pre-audited data, which are in our case the same, but we will send an invitation to you somewhere in the summer, and we'll try this to be as soon as possible, probably end of July, something like that. So quite early compared to others and the past cases for us. If there's no more questions, thanks a lot for participation. And again, we with Michał invite you to contact us by email or schedule a call. We will be more than happy to discuss and explain anything about current and the future. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.